The Central Asian Report is a program about the ongoing geopolitical trends and the panorama of the present-day realities in Central Asia.
Politics, economics and culture, events, trends and people. All this on one territory. Hello, you're watching the Central Asian Report in today's program. The heads of special services of CIS countries on security in Central Asia. The rise in Kazakhstan's population, going for the record. The spirit of Tengri, ethnic music in a new style. And coming right up, headlines from Central Asia. In Turkmenistan, very soon a lot of social benefits will be rescinded. Also, the tariffs for utility services, which were previously free for the country's citizens, have been set. This was announced by the President of the Republic, Gurbanguly Berdimuhamedov. According to him, the welfare level of Turkmenistan citizens has increased substantially, and there is no longer a need for social benefits. What's more, they may actually impede the country's transition to a market economy. I would add that earlier Turkmenistan's authorities also recalled the slight norms for gas given out for free to its citizens, and also gas tariffs for volumes exceeding the set limit have risen. Starting on June 1st of 2016, Tajikistan launched its online portal for the issuance of visas to foreign citizens entering the country. It is now possible to submit a visa application online without having to visit Tajikistan's consular services abroad. The aim of this novel service is to simplify the procedure of processing the documents and to save time for foreign tourists and business people. The cost of the service is $50 US. The onlooker sees more of the game. The heads of special services of CIS countries met in Minsk to discuss issues of security in the countries of Central Asia. Our correspondent in Belarus brings us the report on the current threats, means of dealing with them, and details of the meeting. This is the 40th meeting of heads of special services of CIS countries, but its main topics are the same: the battle with drug trafficking and illegal migration, armed conflicts and terrorist threats. However, some new challenges have been posed: the rise in Islamic fundamentalism and aggravation of inter-ethnic conflicts. The Central Asian region is especially vulnerable in this respect. Central Asia and the Arab East are the most vulnerable to international religious, ethnic and other upheavals. Unfortunately, entire states are disintegrating. The countries of CIS are also facing threats connected with terrorist activity, especially in the south, illegal migration, illegal circulation of drugs caused by the unstable social situation.
Масштабным незаконным оборотом наркотических средств, а в ряде регионов нестабильная социальная обстановка.
In the Central Asian region, the special services have always kept in mind the situation in Afghanistan. Right now, they must take into account Syria, Libya and Iraq. The influence of ISIS is growing day by day. The number of adherents of various religious extremist groups is rising. And all these movements reach the countries of Central Asia. That is why specialists are forecasting a rise in terrorist threats in the region in the near future.
Присягнувшие на верность ИГИЛ банглавари стремятся создать сеть.
The militants that have chosen to give their loyalty to ISIS are attempting to create a network of terrorist cells on the territory of CIS countries and to revive the resource base in the Northern Caucasus. We have to develop new measures on preventing illegal migration, which is used by terrorist groups to move their militants to more distant areas and subsequent return to their base country.
Для переброски боевиков в горячие точки и последующего возвращения в страны исхода.
The unity of CIS countries is a guarantee of security of all the countries of the Commonwealth. This was stated by the Executive Secretary Sergei Lebedev during the meeting.
В 2015 году были выявлены 90 ячеек международных террористических центров.
In 2015, 90 terrorist cells were unveiled, and more than 1,300 terrorist militants were taken for examination. Together with the Council of Commanding Border Troops of our countries, a document was adopted on the support and strengthening of the Tajikistan-Afghanistan border on the boundaries of the CIS.
Таджикистан для укрепления пограничной безопасности на таджикско-афганском участке внешних границ государств СНГ.
The meeting participants, for understandable reasons, could not speak about the conducted unplanned operations, but they did let us know that active anti-terrorist work is being conducted across all borders and in all directions, from prevention of financing of terrorists to exposure and liquidation of transit channels.
В феврале 2016 года ФСБ России совместно с комитетом...
In February of 2016, Russia's Federal Security Service, in collaboration with Kazakhstan's National Security Committee, shut down the activities of a criminal group whose members are planning to conduct terrorist acts similar to the Paris scenario in the big cities of Russia. Afterwards, they were planning to join the ranks of ISIS in one of the Arab countries. In January of this year, we interdicted the illegal migration channel to Finland from Afghanistan through Kazakhstan and Russia.
Миграции выходцев из Афганистана в Финляндию, транзитом через Казахстан и Россию.
All the participants of the meeting of heads of special services in Minsk are confident the battle for strengthening global and regional security should not be organized in a discrete manner targeting separate issues, but in a consolidated manner, not spontaneously, but through planning, by taking into account objective and subjective factors. Three against one. In Kazakhstan, the birth rate exceeds the death rate by threefold, and this difference in the first quarter of this year reached a historical high record level for the country, 65,000 people. Our correspondent analyzed in depth this positive trend and found out why the population is growing.
И выяснил, почему нас становится больше.
Kazakhstan's population is rising rapidly, faster than ever in the history of the sovereign republic. In reality, that means that in the first quarter of 2016, in Kazakhstan, 3 times more citizens were born than passed away. In the first 4 months of 2016, 132,000 people were born. This is around 5,000 more than during the same period of last year. There is also a fall in the death rate, and that is why we're predicting a normal demographic trend in 2016. Of course, it will be positive. Serikjan and Gulbagira Alisherov are raising their 4 sons and 1 daughter. Every month, they receive 8,000 tenge in social benefits for all the children from the state. Considering the numerous expenditures, this support is barely enough. Every week we do grocery shopping, and this amounts to 30,000 tenge. In terms of clothes, every season we spend 100,000 tenge for everyone. And these are not some brand luxury clothes, but middle-class products. 20,000 tenge spent on the shopping mall. This 10,000 tenge for game machines and 10,000 on fast food. And this is not all. There are hobby groups, after-school classes, medical services, and school. But the Alisherov family has gotten used to bearing the financial responsibility for their children on their own. Serikjan works in the IT sector, and his wife is a makeup artist. At some point in time, they decided they will have as many children as fate grants them, and in the future are planning to continue contributing to the growth in the country's population.
Даже сейчас вот дети, когда выросли,
right now, when the kids are older, I look at them and think there are so few of you. 2 or 3 more would be good. But this is not the end. We're planning to perhaps have more children, because children are a joy.
у нас еще есть, возможно, будут еще дети, потому что дети – это счастье.
The example of the Alisherov family is more likely an exception to the general social situation. Large families have not yet become a common trend in Kazakhstan. What's more, there is also a substantial number of adherents of the child-free movement in the country. This trend came here from the West, and entails a voluntary refusal to have children in the name of individual freedom and self-realization.
Я вот хотела бы, чтобы казахская политика наша
I would want our reproduction policy to be smarter.
такой умной, чтобы мы качественно размножались.
Gulzada Serikjan was raised in a big family. She has 7 brothers and sisters, and today another 20 nieces and nephews. But at the age of 43, she's not in a rush to give birth and create her own family. Her life consists of 2 jobs and numerous hobbies, among which are traveling and boxing. If she would have dedicated herself to children, she's confident that she wouldn't have had any of this.
Я думаю, что женщины сейчас могут просто отдохнуть, заниматься чем-то другим.
And I think that today women can just rest and do something else, like learn software programming, which is very interesting, become engineers, lose themselves in work if they like it, or do sports. and not just waste their life on reproductive duties.
Не тратить свою жизнь на только репродукцию.
It turns out that more and more residents of Kazakhstan are not rushing to burden themselves with offsprings, and the state on its part is not ready to share this responsibility with their citizens. But how can this record rise in population be explained? Experts believe that this is just a natural process, the second wave of the demographic boom which happened in Kazakhstan in the 1960s. What's more, today the birth rate is growing in the country, but there have been periods when it was higher, and the death rate is dropping, but could have been lower.
В настоящее время ориентируется на 2,6–2,7.
At the moment, the average rate is 2.6–2.7 children. Thus, every 2 families on average have 2.5 children. This is not high, just a bit higher than the regular demographic trend. A number of ethnic groups of Kazakhstan are witnessing depopulation. Russian, Ukrainian, Belarusian, and Tatar are showing negative population growth. The death rate exceeds the birth rate.
Имеет отрицательный демографический прирост. Умирает больше, чем рождается.
According to the forecast of experts, in the near future the trend of rapid population growth will reach a decline, just as the birth rate, and this is also normal. In addition, specialists are predicting the end of the European demographic expansion in Kazakhstan and the beginning of a new one. It is predicted that it will be coming from India and the nearby regions. More than 20,000 Almaty residents witnessed the spirit of Tengri. And this is not a mass shaman ritual, but a festival of contemporary ethnic music. This was the 4th time that it was held in Kazakhstan's southern metropolis. My colleague in Almaty brings us the report on the special aspects of this festival, its participants, and those who did not feel the spirit of Tengri. The band Al Aspan is in the middle of an important rehearsal. The musicians are preparing for the Spirit of Tengri festival. For the 4th time in a row, this scene is gathering performers of contemporary ethnic music. Al Aspan takes part in the festival every year. The band has been reworking traditional Kazakh songs to a more contemporary style for more than 20 years.
Может, там вступление где-то, отступление где-то делаем, но мы полностью цитируем наши произведения.
If there is a performance, then we perform, but fully cite our works, and it turns out great. So great that in the United States, a reputable label, Roadrunner, in 2012 rated us 2nd in the daily top 100 chart. In the weekly chart, we're ranked 7th. Tens of groups from all over the world were trying to make it to this chart.
В недельном чарте 7-е место заняли. Туда вообще пробивались десятки тысяч групп со всего мира.
The music of the peoples of Eurasia has enormous potential, but for now is still not as well represented across the global mainstream music industry. For the purpose of its popularization and development, in 2012 the radio station Tengri FM organized the Spirit of Tengri Festival in Almaty. The main idea of the festival, the Spirit of Tengri, well, its name speaks for itself, because Tengri is what was on the territory of Eurasia, and this Eurasian culture, diverse and rich, and not yet fully discovered, that is what we want to present to the world. During the 4 years of organizing this festival, there were very few performers from Central Asia, and this year there wasn't a single collective from the neighboring republics. However, aside from the local groups from Kazakhstan, among the performers there were guests from Bashkortostan, Yakutia, Estonia, Hungary, Turkey, China, and the United States. This is a collective from Tuva. They decided to center the performance around throat singing, and this was no mistake. The audience is very impressed. However, every group that performs here stands out through its original, authentic sound. Some use ancient instruments, and others more improved modern versions. One thing holds true for everyone. The show program at the Spirit of Tengri has to be unique. Every year we come with a new set and add something to it. Therefore, last year we came with new songs, and this year we added the drums. At the moment, we're actively working on the arrangements for the orchestra. In 2012, 5,000 people attended the very first Spirit of Tengri festival. This year, there were 4 times more attendance. Considering the rising interest, the organizers are thinking about developing the festival further with the new formats. In addition to the grand show at the beginning of the summer, in the future it will be possible to attend the concerts all year round. You're watching the Central Asian Report. Until next time on Kazakh TV.